Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen. This is Teal with the Arcane Bear. I don't normally like to get conspiratorial because, well, often because they're right. But I don't, and I also don't normally scroll the 4chan boards. But I want to go over something just because it was entertaining the last time it happened. So I figured, let's do it today. So we're going to look at something that I think is, at least to say the least, entertaining. Okay, we'll start here. Boom. So this was released this morning. Bitcoin plunges another 12% as China calls for crackdown on crypto mining. It says China keeps calling for a crackdown on Bitcoin mining. China's Financial Stability and Development Committee has decided to retain its hawkish stance on Bitcoin in its 51st meeting, planning a crackdown on cryptocurrency mining and trading. The Chinese financial regulatory body will also focus on reducing credit risks, reforming medium-sized financial institutions, and severely punishing illegal financial activities. This meeting was presided over by China's Vice Premier Li He. I don't know how to say that. Close enough. So here it says on Thomas Heller, the compass of mining claims and local miners are unsure how the most recent anti-Bitcoin news will affect the industry. Anti-Bitcoin mining news regularly comes up, but this is worth mentioning. Miners in China I've spoken with are unsure about the impact. So Bitcoin has plunged to an intraday low price of $36,000 on worrying price, shedding 12% in mere minutes. So okay, let's go over the final part here. It says the FDSC market took another blow to the Bitcoin's rough week. The cryptocurrency got hammered yesterday as the U.S. Treasury called transfers over $10,000 to be reported to the IRS by businesses as part of the Biden administration's new tax enforcement push. Oh, that's a new one I didn't catch. On May 19th, Bitcoin plunged to as low as $30,000 during a massive sell-off. So we'll look at the price here. We're at $37,000 for Bitcoin, and we're at $2,400 for Ethereum. Now, this is where we grab the popcorn, we put on our tinfoil hats, and we start to get a little ridiculous. Okay, so for those of you that joined us the other day, there was a post that came out approximately 8 hours before the Chinese news came out, saying that this specific person works with a massive firm that's also working with the People's Republic of China, and that they're basically aiming to liquidate one particular person. Now, for those of you that don't know much about the People's Republic of China, they can be unfriendly to people that they don't like. Winnie the Pooh was a great example for that. A bunch of people made a meme of Xi Jinping, their president, and Winnie the Pooh, and before you know it, Winnie the Pooh is banned from China. Winnie the Pooh didn't do anything. It was just because there was a meme going around. They banned it from all their social media apps. Ding dong, you probably got in trouble if you did it too. Anyways, they are not great. It's not great. Those kind of things are not great signs for a fairly large government. But anyways, so this was posted yesterday. So not today. This was posted the day after. So not the day that you would hope, which would be the 20th. Now, again, it depends on where you are in the world because it will show up with the date and time of where you are specifically. But let's look at this just for fun anyways. So another guy came in here and said, insider again, can't tell if they're the same person because they're a different account. That's fine. I still don't know how 4chan works, and I'm assuming that if someone wants to post anonymously and they know the strict rules of China, they're going to do their best to make sure that they're not even using the same account, so that doesn't bother me. Now here it says, hey, it's been a long day, only 2 hours sleep, a lot has happened I cannot discuss, but here's what I can tell you. Right now we're going to short Bitcoin again. The current target is 25 grand, and we're still trying to knock out a certain player. It's not Tom Brady. Okay, well, we know who it's not. That's good. This time I cannot give you the exact time frame of the sell-off, but things will start getting interesting around 7 a.m. UTC time. Okay, well, it's 9:35 a.m. UTC. It's close enough for me. We can expect a gradual drop to 35 grand, and before that, and then things will start to go downhill really fast. Now, again, I don't trust these forums. We have no idea who's posting, but the last post front ran the China news by 8 hours, and that's, well, first off, China has actually came out and said poor things about Bitcoin pretty much every time there's a bull market, so there's nothing new. Technically, if you made that post every day, eventually you would be right, like 30 plus times. So we don't want to take it too seriously. But here's what I want to look at. Okay, we're on the 1 minute chart, which I don't ever suggest doing. But what allows, let's actually go to Bitcoin itself. When you see this amount of supply come into the market, these are big. They have a lot of firepower. Like, these people are throwing hundreds hundreds of thousands probably of Bitcoin in the market at any given second. And within just a few minutes of the new Bitcoin banning news from China, we dropped 12%. Okay, so the amount of supply that it takes to move the market like this is significant. It's not an insignificant amount of capital. Like, you need a serious throwdown. Now, there are two things key. Number one, on the 1 hour, we couldn't get and stay above in the Bollinger Bands. So we were seeing weakness in the ecosystem to begin with. Right now, that post was made, I think, a day ago, which was probably a little too early to push the market over anyways. But these big supply signatures coming in like this at any given moment, again, that's an institution being able to do that. Like, T.O. Bear over here, no matter, I could leverage everything I goddamn own, and I would not leave a footprint in the ecosystem. We could probably team up with a bunch of people that have tens of millions of dollars and still not leave price signatures that big in the market. So what does that mean? That means that whoever's pushing the price right now has a lot of firepower. Now, one of our friends from China sent us this. Now, again, I'm not too well versed on Chinese media. I don't know that a lot about China. First off, I love Chinese people. I think all people are pretty much generally amazing, aside from the fact they're all humans and do stupid shit. But in general, you know, aside from the fact that I love pretty much everybody, this is an interesting share here. It says, Hurong bond swing as Beijing remains silent, and we can see very specific dips in the market that are also correlating to the bonds. Now, this is an eerie and interesting sentiment. What is the Chinese government using perpetual dollar swaps to push Bitcoin's price down? Again, remembering, let's pretend for a minute that it's the Federal Reserve, because the Federal Reserve is another group of people that could basically push the Bitcoin price to wherever the fuck they wanted to. So they could go, hey, we're going to print as much money as we can. We're going to put on a perpetual swap, and we're going to short the shit out of Bitcoin. You could ruin the whole market by doing that. Now, the Federal Reserve, although I'm not going to call them not criminal, they're not that criminal, or like to that level of criminality. And again, I'm not well enough versed in these conversations, and we are getting into something that's severely out of my wheelhouse, which is governments. I don't like them, generally speaking, so I also don't know a whole lot about them, other than the fact that I just would rather they were not in my life at all. So these big amounts of supply coming into the market feel unnatural to me. And when we see these weird things start to come out, and you get any type of like relationship between a post and the news shortly after, you want to scratch your head a little bit and go, well, you know, I've seen a lot of conspiracy theorists who have been somewhat right over the years, right? I watched one of my first favorite pieces I watched was Alex Jones. So always interesting to see Alex Jones from back in 2000. You know, he was right about a lot of things that most people would consider fairly out of place, right? So it's not necessarily out of the way for this type of potential to be the case. So I'm just keeping a close eye on it. For me personally, if they get, so here, we'll go back, we'll read this whole post here. Let's take a look at this. Where was it? Oh, there it is. So it says, right now we're going short to Bitcoin around 25 grand. Well, that sounds fucking fantastic to me. I would be extremely excited to see Bitcoin at $25,000. I'm going to buy more of it at that price. Jesus, that's a quarter of what it should cost to produce. So we'll keep that in mind. So it's just an exciting moment to keep an eye on. That would be fantastic for me. I would be very excited about that. And again, guys, just generally in moments of fear are not the time to panic sell. You shouldn't be over leveraged, period. And it represents a new time to take positions, which is fantastic. If we see Bitcoin down at 25 grand, that would be freaking awesome. I would love that. Although I want to go over and say that, look, the light behind me is still green. Ultimately, I believe that this market cycle is not over. Now, some of you might think that a 50% drop would end a market cycle, but really that's irrelevant. Bitcoin dropped 40 to 50% like 3 or 4 times in the previous market cycle. So what difference does that make? As a matter of fact, let's go back and look at that. I think this is an interesting conversation just in general. But again, look how big these supply moves are. These are not insignificant amounts of capital. There's a serious amount of capital they've thrown around there to get that to happen. So let's Let's take a look. Let's go to the daily here on Bitcoin and go back to our previous market cycle. So again, one of you guys wrote something in the chat the other day about, oh, your light's still green. It's like, yeah, well, look, I care about two things. When did the market cycle start and when did it end? And here's the problem, right? If you think that full-scale distribution is taking place way back here, let's pretend it's 2017, right? And you're like, oh, look, Tio, why is your light still green? The market is clear. Like, we just had this rounded top. It's a distributional pattern. Like, boo-hoo. Like, what do you sound like a pussy? You have no idea how these market cycles work. This very quickly just became a spring, right? So distribution can easily turn into a spring. And that's the difficult part about these reaccumulation and distribution ranges. And I've talked about this every freaking episode, is that in the middle of the market, it is very easy to confuse a temporary distribution with what just later becomes the spring and you move higher. So again, here we were getting frequent market drops in 2017 of around, was this 40% here, and from wick to wick here, around another 30%. So this was not unusual. And this never once signaled to me that the Bitcoin bull market was over. And again, this is the deceiving part of why I think a lot of people get shaken out in these moments, is because if you don't understand that you can have a very temporary distributional pattern that just ends up turning into a spring, well, then you haven't done your homework. So, and this happened in August, as like recently before the Bitcoin, right before the Bitcoin market cycle actually started. So here, we went over this moment. Here, it looked like a nice rounded top was taking place. And if you were to think, oh my God, the market is over because there's a distributional range, well, that sucked for you because we went up 10x just shortly afterwards. So that's important. That's important to keep in mind, is that these temporary distributional moments do not mean the bull market is over. That's why the light is still green. If you don't understand that, you're new here. So what's the point of what I'm trying to say? Okay, well, two things. Number one, this to me, I believe, is a very temporary, momentary distributional cycle. We've made videos about this, like, hey, it could very easily turn into distribution. We could come down to $32,000. As a matter of fact, if you go back and look at our private videos, let's go to the trade group. Where was this? Yes, here it was. Here's a video I posted on April 23rd. This is when I specifically removed capital from the system, because I'm like, look, things are risky right now. It could go either way, but we're high enough up. And I go, hey guys, let's take a listen here.
So here's the thing, right? Bitcoin and the distribution. And we've talked about this before. Kind of one of the downsides to reaccumulation is the idea here that phase C, as we saw, very quickly can turn into distribution. Now, part of one of the things I've been struggling with, because well, not struggling, but at least contemplating here, is how low do we go? Ultimately, at least previously, when we've seen larger scale distributions like this has been the end of the bull market cycle. I don't think that that's the case. We could see a return down to like $32,000 and end up forming basically a reaccumulation pattern. Now,
and that's exactly what I think is going to happen right now. That what we're about to witness, this is a reaccumulation after decline. And these are very noticeable reaccumulation patterns, and they're very deceiving. Let's see, am I still logged in? I think so. So reaccumulation after decline is a two-part sequence. Number one is you have this moment that looks like a distribution, very, very similar to what we had back here in August, where you have a quick spike down, and then you start another reaccumulation pattern, basically right underneath this cycle top here. So if we go to arcanebear.com, we go to our resources, the private members group, we look at Wyckoff trading ranges. And we look at a reaccumulation after decline. So reaccumulation after decline, and again, these are like, let's say, call them idealized schematics. They're not perfect, but you get a nice cycle high top, you drop down, and then you get a reaccumulation. And then again here, we saw this back in August, where we had a reaccumulation after decline. So again, notice that it's not a perfect, like, it doesn't look exactly the way it does drawn out here. It's just a sequence of events that take place. So right, we had a rounded top, and technically what would be looked at as a distributional moment, but again, in no way relevant in the longer term macro perspective. In fact, very disorienting if you were to think that the market was over because of that. We saw a reaccumulation with a rising bottom, and then we took off to like what, basically 6 times higher than we were at that moment. So although I don't think we have room to go up 6x from here, this is a really important conversation to understand that right now, what I think we're going to see is a reaccumulation after decline. Here we have the top, we'll bounce down, and we'll probably do something like this and move on to higher highs. Now, this is a great moment. We've shaken out a lot of the leverage, you know, as long as China eventually destroys the one person that they were looking to get rid of here. Great. Someone's like, oh, I wish China wouldn't hurt all the retail investors. First off, the Chinese Communist Party doesn't give a shit about the individual. That's clear. But that's a whole nother conversation that, again, I'm not versed enough to have. So let's take a look again at what this means. Do you have, are they trying to specifically do something? And you know, one of the fun things about the Wyckoff heuristic is that, yes, market manipulation just means that you have the power to buy and sell at significant amounts, right? Whoever threw this amount of supply into the market has a ridiculous amount of money to play around with. And that's important. This supply signature is not in any retail. This is a huge, huge amount of supply. Huge. You're talking about probably like 100,000 Bitcoin or something, like not a small amount of Bitcoin coming into the market to make a dent like this, right? If they do that again, they could very easily drop the price. And that's the important point to note here. And then again, that doesn't negate what we just went over. We went over this on April 23rd. That yeah, we could see a reaccumulation after decline, and I still don't think that the bull market is over. So this to me just represents an enormous opportunity. That's it. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the bull market is over, and then again, like that's not a good sign either. Let's take a look at it's Friday still, so let's take a look at how the rest of the market has reacted. Obviously, the rest of the market reacts very poorly, mostly because what we need to remember here, ladies and gentlemen, is that when you go to CoinGecko, shout out to CoinGecko. I love Bobby and the guys who build this CoinGecko. They're fantastic. We have seen another like $100 billion wiped off the market, but just 2 weeks ago, the wife coin, Jesus Christ, they should get rid of CoinGecko. Don't just let anyone pay for advertisements. Come on. Anyways, the point of this is $1 trillion in market cap was wiped off in like 48 hours. It's because that $1 trillion didn't actually exist. So let's go to Uniswap. I want to talk about this kind of briefly as well. This market is over-exaggerated and extremely hyper-inflated. Let's take a look at Hex. So here, Hex says they've got approximately, where's the liquidity? Doesn't show the liquidity anymore on these. Oh, you have to go to the actual pool itself. Okay, so does it not show the liquidity? Oh, there it is. Okay. So on these open automated market makers, you can put any token you would like, and you can make it appear like it has an extraordinary amount of supply, right? And price. I mean, we could make a token overnight, and we could make it look like it has $1 billion market cap. It's fake. It's bullshit. But you have to be smart enough to know why it's bullshit, I think, to really see through the layer of nonsense here. Now, people are going to be like, oh, but Hex is amazing. It's done so well. I could use literally any token. Maybe I shouldn't rag on people I know, because maybe it's not fair. Let's use Sushi instead. Sushi and its liquidity. Man, I don't like this new version 3. It doesn't even... Come on, you guys suck. Like, Dex Tools is so much better. Anyways, the point of this is the liquidity that you're actually witnessing is basically a farce. It's a sham. You have a token that's got $1 billion market cap with only $1 million in liquidity on either side of the trade. You're like, well, that's the doorway, and that's how thin the exit is. So the rest of the market will drop very, very quickly because the doorway into exiting is very, very small. So the downside here, okay, well, you know, we had a beautiful trading range here on linked forming. We had a nice SOS in a backup phase, and then we had a nice SOS. And then because of how much leverage there was in the system and how thin the exit is, we've been pushed all the way back down to the bottom of the trading range in Link as well. So we've seen this across the board. Same with Avalanche, just right back to the bottom of the trading range, like basically in an instant, right? So what does that mean? It means that this ecosystem has a bunch of fake liquidity in it. It's not there. It doesn't exist. It's a sham, right? $1 billion. You have companies valued at $1 billion that are clearly, there's not $1 billion in liquidity. Now we could, people like Richard Hart would be like, oh yeah, but see, the lower the liquidity, the easier it is to get the price to go up. Yeah, but the easier it is to get the price to go down. And that's what we're witnessing right now, is that there's no supply in the market. Someone with a few 100,000 Bitcoin could come in and absolutely shove the price down, right? And we're witnessing this downward potential right now. And when you look at the 1 minute, again, this first down here, this could have been 100 to 200,000 Bitcoin. Easily. That's not a small amount of money. Anyways, that's fun. That's fun. This is fun. Time to buy more Bitcoin. Now, one of the things I want to go over in a finalization here is Glassnode. So, again, it's the amount of Bitcoin that comes into the exchange at these single moments that is so interesting, because it's enormous. It's not a small amount of supply, right? So you're like, oh, that's an institution. No, that's almost bigger than an institution. And that's what makes me put my tinfoil hat on and go, is this guy, is he telling the truth? Is that what happened? Because it's possible, right? That's what we saw with GameStop. When there's illiquidity in a market, you can squeeze the price. That's just the way it goes. What did I want to go to? Oh yeah, the Glassnode data. So here again, let's zoom out here and look at what that did to the market. So we've been watching basically supply leaving the open exchanges day over day over day over day, up until all of a sudden we go from 13.5%, 13.15% to 13.5%. That's basically 0.4% of the entire liquid market in like 24 hours. That's not insignificant. And that's important to note, because that's bigger than an institution in my books. And anyways, I don't know what else to think about that. I think, again, for me, because of where we are in the market, it just represents further buying opportunity, further potential to take advantage of these things. What do you guys think? I don't know, but when I see that news come out almost like clockwork, the FUD, the media, this massive amount of supply that's like more than a single institution, I scratch my tinfoil hat and go, well, let's see Bitcoin at 25 grand. Get me some cheap assets. That's what I say. But yeah, very, very coordinated, it seems like. And that's what CompMan does. CompMan's great at coordinating these types of moves. So I'm not going to argue at it. I'm not going to argue against it at this moment. So we're just going to keep an eye on it. And definitely not a time to be in a leveraged up position. Must be Max Kaiser they're trying to shake out. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Max Kaiser doesn't strike me as the person who would be long on leverage. And they specifically said that they were long on leverage here in their previous post. So I don't know. Otherwise, you can't liquidate someone by them just holding on to Bitcoin. That's not how this game works. Anyways, let's take a look at your guys' thoughts and questions. Definitely not Elon, because he's not long leverage. You can't wipe out someone who's in a spot position. Definitely understand that. Lots of bull whales longing and buying. Yeah, but if you have the People's Republic of China, like, it doesn't matter how much fucking money you have. They have like an infinite bank account. They don't get wiped out and being stupid. They'd be like trying to play against the Federal Reserve, like going short the Federal Reserve right before they print like $9 trillion. Sounds fucking stupid to me. Tio, if you can remember, what were the two books you recommended the other day? One was 100 Baggers. Oh, Dan Dow. Dan Dow. And this is how you spell it, because I've seen a few of you guys ask. D-H-A-N-D-H-O. A comprehensive value investing framework for the individual investor in a straightforward and accessible manner. Great book. Great book. I suggest it. Follow us on Twitter, because, you know, we love you guys, and that's great. Follow us on all the rest of the other social media platforms. This is good too. Again, I just think that this is fascinating. This is fascinating to see 4chan. And look, 4chan's front run a lot of really interesting things. Like before Chainlink was hyper cool, 4chan was all over it. 4chan's been ahead of the game every now and then, so that's why I'm not discounting this. They've been ahead of the game. just again, it's a wild thing to say. They say it's Justin Sun. See, the only reason I disagree with it being Justin Sun is because in this post specifically, when we look back, they say they're priced to liquidate a certain stakeholder. And then this says, I can't outright say who it is, but the picture is relevant. So here it says, first, there will be a coordinated sell-off to drop the prices below a threshold to liquidate one certain stakeholder. I can't outright say who he is, but the photo on the side is semi-related. And the photo says China will recycle used white guys. And if I go and I look at Justin's son, well, he's a little white, but he is definitely Asian. So I don't know if I see that being the target. And again, Justin's son bought here at spot price, not at leverage, and you can't wipe someone out who's buying at spot. So that just doesn't make sense. He didn't buy on leverage; he bought spot here. So you can't liquidate someone who buys at spot. Oh yeah. So for those of you that didn't know, maybe I'm wrong here. Like maybe it's just my own thing, but Justin looks pretty Asian. And this post says specifically, picture is semi-related. I can't tell you who, but we're trying to wipe out one person. China will recycle used white guys. So I don't know. Can you be Asian and white? I'm not even sure. Maybe Asian people are white. I don't know. Am I white? This is a really confusing year. This is great. I'm having a lot of fun with this today. In case anyone wondered. Ooh, look at this. Here we go. A little bit of buy pressure. Let's see. Enormous amount of supply coming in. I'm looking for an enormous amount of supply coming into the market here, because that's the only thing that would drive us down real fast. And we're right at the bottom of this breaking point. It'd be really, really interesting to see here. No, couldn't be Michael Saylor either, because he doesn't use leverage. Come on, guys. This is a really simple question. Who bought with leverage and an extraordinarily high amount of it? None of the people you've mentioned bought with leverage. They all bought spot. You're an alien. That could be true. I don't know. I'll have to find out. See, look, guys, it would be someone who bought. Francis says, nice to see you're having fun while all getting wrecked. Again, if you're getting wrecked, it's because you don't understand how to be a good investor, and that's clearly a lesson for you here. So congratulations on paying for a lesson. Welcome to the club. Probably a celebrity figure, probably no celebrity figure we're accustomed to. Yeah, I would agree. It's probably not anyone we could pick out. No, guys, it would be no one we know. It would be someone who. I don't think it would be anyone we know. It just seems unlikely at that point that it would be someone relevant to our little circle of people. It just makes zero sense, basically. How do you know they don't have a personal leverage position? Yeah, because they're not stupid. Why would you buy a personal leverage position if you have $1 billion? Doesn't make any sense. People buy leverage positions because they feel they don't have enough capital to buy what they want. If you had the capital, why would you use leverage? No, you just use more of your capital. No, this makes no sense. Elaine Hooper says it was Justin Sen. Google it. Yeah, you can't trust Google. I mean, at this point, you're more likely to be able to trust 4chan than Google, Elaine. Well, just for fun, we'll play Elaine's little game here. Justin Sun leverage. Yeah, don't see nothing there, Elaine. I'm gonna go with you're wrong. Let's see who. how I wish we had an easier way to identify it. One of the things that came up in this thread is they were talking about a specific firm here eventually. Where was it? It was one firm that they were aiming at. Oh, it's too short. I don't think it was Justin Sun, by the way. It just doesn't fit either of the models. So there's that. Yeah, and there goes BTC. There comes a sick fucking amount of supply again. These are huge footprints, ladies and gentlemen. Huge footprints. Look at Twitter Liquid Protocol Justin Sun. Okay, I'll play your guys' game here. Liquid Protocol Justin Sun. Justin's not white though. You guys are sending me down rabbit holes that don't work. I hate that because I just don't think it's Justin Sun. It doesn't fit the profile. It doesn't. It's like he's Asian. Come on, guys. Simple facts here. Yeah, this is more than just the average institutional playing a dump game. That's for damn sure. He had 1 billion in ETH and was in the queue for liquidation. Guys, you're just making stuff up now. It sounds like I can't agree with you here. So this is fun. This is great. I love watching Bitcoin's price fall because of a 4chan post. That's fantastic. And again, remember that whoever's doing this right now is not fucking around. They have a serious amount of firepower. Like these are not single individuals. It's Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, it must be Winnie the Pooh was over leveraged. He had bought a bunch of Ethereum at a ridiculous price. That sounds more likely to me. Whew, look at Ethereum here though. That was a nice this looks good for Ethereum though right now. Yummy. That was beautiful. Look at the absorption there for Ethereum. Bang. And Bitcoin almost, let's take a look on the shorter time frame. Oh, nice. This was great. Nice absorption on the 1 minute for Bitcoin too. That was good. They're going to have to battle hard to throw that down now. Let's see. Yeah, you like how I draw lines, ladies and gentlemen? I'm the best line drawer. Yeah, I don't know. Well, nice absorption though. That's good to see. So again, I'm not playing around here. I'm not trying to like take short or long positions and none of this shit. I'm just watching strictly for like popcorn's sake. Like I should almost get some popcorn. This is great. Look at the USDT being sent to Chinese exchanges on whale alert. Cool. Again, look, I'm not suggesting anyone sell here. This is buy area. If we go down to 25K, buy area, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not like, oh my God, I should sell. Like, making sure everyone's clear on this. Like these represent buy moments in my opinion. Bitcoin is extraordinarily undervalued, like by a lot. Let's go to my favorites here. Stock to flow deflection. Like we haven't seen fear in the markets this big since the pandemic. That's crazy to me. Stock to flow deflection model. Look how low we are. We haven't seen fear levels or discounted Bitcoin at this price in all of the history of Bitcoin. Like this is such a great time to be acquiring Bitcoin at spot price right now. Look at this. We are lower than it was when Bitcoin was at $3,000. This is crazy shit. These are all buy opportunities. I just want to make sure people understand that. The last time we've seen it anywhere near this low was July 17th, right before it freaking exploded towards $20,000. So keep that in mind. The last time we have seen a stock to flow deflection price this low was when we were back in 2017, right before the hard fork. This is a huge opportunity for buy. Yeah, again, they're just throwing supply onto the market. Look at them go. I'm impressed. And look and see here again. You could still see that even though someone came in and bought a shit ton of Ethereum here, it took them very little effort to go nope. We may see $25,000 Bitcoin. We're just going to stay online. I should even grab some soup. I'm grabbing some soup, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to watch this thing go all the way down to 25 grand. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to stick around. Don't fuck around with 4chan. That's clearly the lesson of today. Well, I'm sorry, everyone. I don't have any popcorn to enjoy this this ride with you guys, but this is the best I can do. I've got some great, amazing soup. Let's roll with that. How we doing? Yeah, lots of people messaging me. That makes sense. This is great. I'm enjoying this. Hold on, give me one sec here. Yes. Follow us on the social media channels down below. Again, so what website are you looking at the charts on? Oh, that's okay. So here, we were actually looking, this is Glassnode. So this is Glassnode. Right now, what we're looking at is the stock to flow deflection model. Anytime we're in the red, that's when Bitcoin is overpriced versus how much it costs to mine. Anytime we're in the green, that's how cheap it is compared to the cost to mine it right now. So again, the last time we saw this much fear in the markets was the fucking happening of July and August. This is crazy shit. Like, this is basically capitulation. We're seeing more fear in the markets today than we did during the pandemic. Keep that in mind. Like, this is crazy shit. This is probably one of the biggest opportunities for people to get into this sector that are not in this sector yet. Again, we're at point 4 was the lowest we reached. Let's take a look back for the rest of history here. Yeah, we're at some of the lowest points ever in the stock to flow deflection model. This is absolutely crazy. Although, yeah. Anyways. This should be exciting for you guys. I hope you're excited about this. I'm definitely excited about this. Look how basically how cheap Bitcoin is compared to mine right now. It's not a small capitulation. Your battery for your mouse is low. Okay. Time for a new mouse. We're just gonna keep watching the Bitcoin charts here, guys. I'm gonna hang out with y'all for a bit because I figure this is fun. Let's go back here. Yeah, an enormous amount of supply coming into the market to push this stuff around. Like, these guys are not fucking around. $23.90. Trying to get this other mouse to connect here. Yeah, look at that, hey? Okay, so let's take a look at some of you guys' thoughts and questions while I'm trying to get my mouse to connect here. People are scared to get in, though. When we see exchanges crash during the peak dips, all the FUD starts spreading. Yeah, that's what usually happens. Chaos represents opportunity for those who are willing to take it. Yes. Okay, there we go. New mouse connected. We are back. Yeah. So we're just going to watch this. I'm really interested to see. Again, so for those of you that are just joining, we're following a few things. The relationship of the price and the perpetual bond swings. Are they leveraging the bonds to make some of this movement happen? I have no idea. But this is what we're following. is random person potentially pushing the markets around here, trying to get the price down to around 25K. That's what they said. At this time, I cannot tell you the exact time of the sell-off, but things will get interesting, maybe around 7 a.m. UTC. Expect a gradual drop to 35 grand, and then things really start to go downhill. Right now, we're going short on BTC. $25,000 is the target. We're still trying to knock a certain player out, and it's not Tom Brady. This is fun. This is the best type of entertainment. I feel so sorry for people who watch like soap operas. All you need to do, guys, is just join the crypto sector. It's a never-ending drama. Definitely going to ban this. Who's posting this nonsense? Get out of here. Oh, yeah. Some guy asked, do you think the altcoins are going to get wrecked? This market is so illiquid. When things start to move, everything goes down. Sailor is definitely not on leverage, guys. He's not. He's on margin, maybe. He's borrowed money through the sales of his shitcoin called Master to buy more Bitcoin because he doesn't even listen to his own advice. Can you link that 4chan post? No, but I can show you what it is and you can type it. You would go to boards, 4chan, biz thread, and then this is how I found it, 358-62125. Or more importantly, actually, just go follow me on Twitter and look at my posts. There we go. I did link it already. Go follow me on Twitter. Here it is. There it is. Perfect. Even smarter of me, right? Yeah, I will help you. What am I saying? I will help you. It's just you have to follow me on Twitter. Yeah, so you can't get liquidated from a margin position because he sold parts of his company to buy the Bitcoin. There's no actual margin there. He doesn't owe anybody money like today. There's no liquidation point on that. Someone says ADA is going up. Let's see what they mean. I see no green. ADA is down 14%. I don't see that. I don't see it going up. Oh, you mean it's like rebounding off of a bottom point for a second? Yeah, that doesn't count. Again, what's nice here is that the door is thinning, right? 18% down on Cardano. Ooh, there's a fight for this little area here. Look at that. This is good. This is great. In times like these, I always bring up the Titanic flute song. Oh yeah, you made the Titanic, the sinking of the ship. Yeah, for those of you that want, there's the tweet. 2 down. Definitely a battle in this area. Let's see if they can. Let's see how much supply they can throw out. Because again, we haven't seen nothing compared to this area. This was an enormous amount of supply they threw out. This is great. Sorry, I'm eating, guys. I just I want to hang out and watch all this with you, so I didn't have time to eat my lunch. So we're going to sit here and watch the nonsense together. Nice, Francis, this is a good one. Psychologically, it makes sense to laugh and smile during these times to give yourself the boosts of dopamine to make better choices. I actually started reading a book called Think and Grow Rich recently. Huge recommendation by a lot of smart people. And it's true. Generally, it's when things are the worst that you need to be able to be the most level-headed to make the best decisions. I agree. Great post there, Francois. When shit's all fucked up, if you can stay level-headed, you're doing well usually. ASMR with Arcane. Yeah, I apologize. I should have just muted the mic for a little bit eating bit there. What time is this supposed to happen? It appears as if it's happening. Although we're definitely seeing a nice fight of supply here, but we didn't. This throwout earlier was huge. If we see another throwout like this could easily drop us to 31 grand. No problem at all. I wouldn't be buying this yet. I'd be waiting to see if this random insider comes close to the $25,000. What was the soup? Oh, it's a tomato basil, like jalapeno chili with beans and corn. I was gonna call it maize. That's how long I've lived in Central America. Yeah, again, guys, for those of you that are in the private group or not, about 2 weeks ago on April 23rd, I removed a bunch of risk from the table. There's a few ways you can follow that. Technically, if you go to TradingView, here's this one. This is the post we made. This was for the private group only, technically. So you would have had to be in the private group to really see it. But I was like, hey, we hit 56K. I'm removing a bunch of my risk here. And I think we're going down to around 30. We could go down to 30K. And we saw that beautifully. So that's, I don't know. I don't try to call things. I just make decisions. See, it's really battling over this area. This is nice to see. We'll probably end up seeing a new range kind of form here. God, you think I would be better at this, considering how much I draw lines, right? Doop. Yeah, we'll watch this horizontal range here. They're really trying to fight over this area. Like again, this is not an insignificant amount of capital coming in, but I bet you it's leveraged too. Like, where can we go to see the leverage positions? One of you guys said I should take a look at the Twitter about whale watch. The whale watcher, is that what it is? I don't remember the whale account. Let's see if it shows up. Whale alert, that's what it is, I think. Let's see if there's anything fun happening there. 2 minutes ago, $9 million minted at the Hong Kong HUSD. I'm assuming that's Hong Kong USD. I don't know. 2 minutes ago, another 9 million minted at the HUSD. 30 million USDT transferred to an unknown wallet to the treasury. 60 million USDT within 12 minutes transferred to an unknown wallet. 2 million EOS transferred from Bybit to unknown wallet. 24 million. There's a lot of movement going on in the ecosystem right now. That's for sure. 4,000 Ethereum transferred from unknown wallet to Kraken. Whew. 20,000 Matic transferred from unknown wallet to unknown wallet. $30 million in Matic just moved. $19 million transferred from unknown wallet to Huobi. This is all within the last hour. $38 million in USDT transferred from the treasury to unknown wallet. 20 million minted. What, does this say $300 million? $300 million transferred from treasury to FTX. $300 million. That's not, see, these are not small or insignificant sums of capital. You know, and FTX is probably trying to buy Bitcoin here. I mean, this is pretty, like, again, they've got a large amount of capital. And what's the arbitrage taking place right now? Is there any? Oh, look at that. It's actually stayed pretty tight. During the big drop, we saw like an $8,000 arbitrage opportunity between here and there. And we know FTX is scandalously good at those arbitrage opportunities. Nice battle. You know, this could be FTX for all we know. Jesus, especially when you know they just printed 30 million. They grabbed 300 million not that long ago. Okay, go FTX. Let's retweet this. We're just gonna watch the markets with you guys today. This is like an abstract episode where we just chill out. Man, BD Daddy, you can go screw yourself. What are you new here? Elon made that a tweet like 2 weeks ago. Whoop, type all capitals at me, and then I'm just gonna ban you just for that. Bye bye. Waste my time. Yeah, This is a serious. There's some serious money being played here right now to play this game. I'm new to the fam and still reading the PDFs, but I'm ready to buy some Bitcoin since it's going down so much. So guys, we're looking at Bitcoin maybe down at $25,000 here. And again, remember that this is peak fear moment. Technically, it's an extraordinary discount for Bitcoin at these prices. The stock to flow deflection, this is the largest set of fear nodes we've had since the halving of July. And I remember that moment. No one knew what would happen. We weren't sure if Bitcoin would survive. Is it going to work still? Is there going to be problems with double spends? Like, we were scared shitless back here. I remember this moment. July, what was it? 17th, basically. This was a scary moment in Bitcoin history. And we are basically at those levels today. We are significantly lower than the pandemic. We're lower than when Bitcoin was at $3,000 back in the first bearish period. This is huge capitulation. The dollar's having a nice rally. Let's take a look at the DXY. Just for fun. Let's see if there's any green on the board. Woo, at 58 cents. Nice. The dollar is not having a rally. Well, actually, the last 2 days it has had a rally. Yeah, look at this. 0.34. I mean, it looks like a rally, but we're also on the 15 minutes. That doesn't really count. If you look at the daily, there's no rally here. It doesn't count. It doesn't count. If you're looking at the 5 minute, you can't be like, yeah, that's a rally. Look at it. The only reason we're looking at the 1 minute for Bitcoin right now is because we're really trying to watch the supply signature on the kind of minute-to-minute basis, just to see what kind of players there are. Hugely important for the supply signature in these moments. Again, we haven't seen them come in and drop these enormous amounts yet, right? And they've been steady. They dropped one to test the market. Let's see what they do if they drop more. We're just going to wait this one out. China's now setting up hotlines for snitching on crypto miners. Interesting. Yeah, an order limit would be a good way to try to catch 25K. Yeah, I don't think this is the end of the bear market. I actually think, or sorry, the beginning of the bear market and the end of the bull. I actually think that this is like one of the most exciting times in the rest of the bull market, because when we scream to like $70,000 and $100,000 after this, it's gonna feel so amazing. And we've talked about this, that this what people call as a distribution here can very, very quickly turn into like a spring. You could go, here's your larger top, you go bing, bing, and now you're back in the box and well on your way. We've seen this so many times in the past too. We've gone over these analogs with Bitcoin multiple times. I think this is the most recent example was here back in August, where you had a very, very, very temporary distributional moment where, yes, we saw a clear upthrust after distribution, which we didn't see on this particular rise, which also has indicated to me that the bull market's not over. And then down here, reaccumulation before we went up like for 10x at least, right? Almost 10x now on Bitcoin. So, well, at least today, not so much. From the 9 grand to 30 grand, we're only up 3x, but for a little bit, we're up there almost 9x. At least from our original plays, but they were below 10 grand, so safe. But again, just remember that these distributional moments very quickly turn into a bullish moment. unless you know where you are in the full market cycle. So if you are new to studying Wyckoff, please know that you have to have a really deep understanding of the larger macro perspective for these to be relevant, because we could be back at $70,000 in the next 30 days, and Bitcoin at 25 grand just looks like this amazing opportunity. Look how high up we are. Let's go back to the 1 minute here just to keep an eye on this little area of fight. Yeah, look at them go, throwing even more supply in the market. Again, if they come out, I don't know who has this kind of firepower, but if they come out and dump this in the market, we're going to drop almost instantaneously to like $30,000. It's not a small move. I love your content, your attitude, your calmness, your knowledge, and your soup recipe. Well, thank you. I love my soup too. The person who said, is technical analysis out of the window because of a 4chan poster? Guys, what you need to understand is the people that are throwing this amount of supply in the market right now are not fucking around. It's just not a random 4chan poster. Like, someone clearly knew that they were going to dump fucking enormous amounts of supply in the market. The fact that we hit 28K was lower than we should have gone. If we go to 25K, that's lower than we should have gone by any technical stretch of the means. This is a forced play by far. Judging by the post, it could be the People's Republic of China. We don't know. Again, I have no idea. Love the laid back charts and chill session. Great. DMT live streaming if Bitcoin hits 25K. That would be fun. I don't have any though. Well, it's not technically true. I grow a bunch in Mimosa hostilis, but yeah, let's go back here. This 1 minute is highly entertaining here. I'm just waiting to see, again, if we see these big spikes start to come out again, because we've seen one test from them. If we see them start to do that consistently, probably closer to this region, and they're going to dump the price. Yeah, this is not retail investors. This isn't even institutional buying. What's crazy is that this down here is institutional buying. This is something, a whole nother beast. And that's why I'm taking the 4chan poster seriously, in case you were wondering. I think the China post is fake and we're being played. Yeah, well, Terry, you clearly don't know how supply signatures work, because it doesn't even matter if the post isn't fake. Whoever's making steps like this are fucking huge players. I can think of very few players. Like that $300 million we saw from FTX was probably this. Whoever's throwing this around got crazy amounts of money. The only people I could see doing that are probably the People's Republic of China, so I'm not sure. Doesn't sound fake to me. Well, don't be scared, Tom. This is the exciting bit. This is the fearful moment, is the moment you should be stoked about. Look, a lot of you guys are leaving comments that think you'll help other people, but it's like your first time in the markets. Don't do that. Peyton Moore says, you would think that this supposed dump would cause the rest of the retail paper hands to sell. Most of the retail paper hands are gone already. You have to know that. Most of the retail paper hands were wiped out already. Have you had combo yet? No, I haven't. Fundamentals are the same, nothing to be scared of. I agree. If you know what the value of Bitcoin is, the price becomes irrelevant, especially when we see how undervalued it is for the current mining situation. These are huge plays that are taking place right now. Don't negate that. This is not institution. This is something. This feels like a different beast to me. You can argue and think that this is a fake 4chan post, but I'm telling you, this footprint here, this is not even an institution. If it was, it would be like 7 to 10 institutions. This is what an institution looks like here. This could have been FTX for all I know, taking a long position. If you look at the volume on the 1 hour, you'll see the current sell volume is less. The 1 hour is not over. It's not worth looking at or commenting. That's why we're on the 1 minute. The 1 hour candles are not closing that quickly. Like, you can't, there's no data there. We want the data on the 1 minute. This is much more valuable data here, at least at the moment. For watching the signature, like, again, this is huge. This is hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin that did this. This here is hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, probably. Actually don't have a supply signature. What are each one of these on the volume bar? I would like to see my volume settings, please. Not right now? Okay, more. Settings. Okay, not going to give me my volume settings right now. I'm not even going to argue. That's fine. I'm positive this is a ridiculous amount of supply. What we're seeing right now, this is institution. This is different. This is something we haven't seen before. That's the only reason why I'm giving this 4chan post credit. The only people I can think that could do stuff like that is the People's Republic of China. And when we see this kind of interesting correlation here between the bond, the perpetual dollar bond, they could be using it as collateral. Yeah, we're not in a bear market, guys. I don't think so. Peyton Moore says, I truly believe this channel offers the most value on the entire website. I've learned so much in such a short period of time, and you've got me to think on much larger time frames. Awesome. I love that. I appreciate the support. It's very kind of you. Retail is not gone, man. At least not in Romania. Yeah, they are. Trust me, they are. I've seen how retail reacts. Most of them were gone already. A lot of them got liquidated. How many traders got liquidated? 800,000? Do you think they just came back yesterday? Like, oh yeah, we got new fresh supply of money. No, come on, you be serious. You're talking about a few people that are not just retail. They're retail, but they decided not to care, right? They have $100 million or an extra $10 billion sitting on the sidelines? I don't think so. Retail is gone almost already. Good coffee is a benefit, great coffee is a reward, and the difference between a good and great is just pennies a day. Richard Wyckoff, yeah. We've got a lot of Wyckoff, great quotes there. So here's a good question. This is actually a good question, and we'll go over this. Van Vittles says, I see you're on Bitstamp. Would the whale leaving its signature have to distribute sales amongst many exchanges? Yes. Generally what they do is they'll have bots that are able to sell on multiple exchanges at the same time. Because otherwise you can't push the whole price down. You'll just push the price of one exchange. And we saw that to some degree the other day when you had price spreads of like $8,000 between exchanges at certain points. High card Jesus. So silly. High card Jesus, you probably are new to this sector. It seems to me like you just showed up here, so welcome. The US government is doing this. Wow, yeah, I'm just gonna say you're wrong. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. Well, you're not a rocket or a scientist. And you're probably new here. Like, you probably have been here for a year and a half and trying to tell me what you think. I don't care what you think. I don't think you're right. So how's that? Paul D says, I've got a job. I make money. I didn't take profits, but I didn't bet more than I could lose. I'm ready to be a bag holder if I have to be. This is fix our mics. You sound weird. Is it peaking or something? I wonder if it reset from the other day. Check 1 2. I don't know. Use ambient noise reduction. I don't know. Can't tell. Maybe I've just spit into the microphone too many times. It's done. It's done. Could be. Not sure. You have to check. Check, check, 1, 2. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably just one of you. It's probably your computer speakers that are fucked. You're the only one saying it. I've watched you since November. Okay, great. You are new here then. I'm not new. I trade every day. What is this? It says you're new to me. But thanks for the support. You probably would already know that I can be kind of ridiculous and yell at people for no reason anyways. It's just kind of my jam. Why would the US government not regulate Tether? But then they overthrow foreign... No, okay, there's just too much conspiracy in that conversation. You've broken the sound completely. Sounds like a waterfall in the back. Oh, check, check, 1, 2. How's that? Is this better? Uh-oh. Let's go back here. We're getting some... Now everyone's commenting about the sound. Check, check, 1, 2. Is this better? Check, check, 1, 2. Awesome. Okay, we're good now. I must have accidentally unplugged the microphone there for a second. Perfect sound now. Okay, there we go. Everyone says sound is better. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. I'm glad we can all technically figure this out. Yeah, I must have unplugged the microphone there for a second. That's what happens. We set up the podcast with Nick last night, and I had to reset everything up to this morning. Will Bitcoin really go to 25 grand? Well, we're going to get to find out. I'm waiting to see if we have an enormous amount of supply thrown onto the market here. We're in a current trading range. This could be considered a sign of weakness. It would be nice to see. Thomas Ava says, have you thought that the 4chan post could be right, but it might not be China? Could be another country impersonating China? US possibly? Yeah, I don't think that the US would get away with that stuff. The US is a little, it's not the same. It's not the same. It would clearly be China, not the US. The US doesn't make sense. I actually think that this is a spring in general. I believe that the bull market is not over, but I'm watching hyper closely just because of, again, how much supply came onto the market in these dumps here. Like here, look at all the average buying for the hours before, and then hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin in the open market. And we saw a test the other day to test the market while we were up pretty high. So well, the only reason we're on the 1 minute right now is just to keep a close eye on these potential trading ranges. Because if we see $25,000 Bitcoin, Jesus Christ, this is going to be so exciting. I mean, and technically, this is already extraordinarily exciting. Tony Rizzo, you're just wrong. Classic Wyckoff distribution. The guy misses it. No, you just don't listen. That's clearly your problem. And that sucks to be you. Sucks to be you. I made like at least 8 videos where I talked about how I sold Bitcoin and Ethereum at 4K and 56K because it's very likely it could turn into distribution, but that we are still bullish ultimately for the long term. So I'm not fully exiting. So fuck you for being such a shitty listener. It's your fault. Get your shit together. Clean your ears. Let's say the price doesn't get below 30,000. Would you then say the post is bullshit? No, not necessarily. Again, the supply that came onto the market is extraordinary. This may also be India. Why is everyone blaming you? India doesn't have the. It's not India. Come on, let's be real here. India's not. I don't even want to get into this political conversation, guys. Like, you should do better homework. Arcane Bear, should you treat volume as a whole? No difference between red and green? No, great question. Here, this is Mitchell K has made a great question. Shout out to Mitchell K. When you guys ask great questions, I'm super stoked. When you say stupid things, I usually rag on you for it. But hey, I also say stupid things too, and I rag on myself for it. So there's no hard feelings there. He says, so Mitchell K says, should you treat volume as a whole and no difference between red and green? Volume is volume, if you understand what I'm saying. Yes, that is true, but it's also not true. You could go, yay, look at the supply that came onto the market, and I don't need to know that it's red, but I'm on the 1 minute here. Like, it doesn't get more granular than that. Knowing that it's all sale volume, well, first off, you can see in two things, the price spread and the supply. So no, I don't need it to be colorful, but also I can tell that this was probably FTX buying here. So I don't know. I think it's important to know the difference. I can see, yeah, I could see it in the price movement itself, but it's just helpful to have the color there. Like, yes, I can see that we were green, so I don't need to see the green buy side. I can see that we were red, so I don't need to see the red sell side. No, you don't need the color, but people are, it's important. Okay. You could hide the price and I could know exactly which direction the market was going based off the supply itself, right? So either way, it's good to have that extra bit of data there. It's not insignificant, especially when we're on the 1 minute here. Can be Russia. Again, it's not though, guys. I just don't think it's good to speculate, but Jonathan Meat says, you know, Tio, I was thinking we could even hit 20K. Yeah, there's reason to look. So let's go out. So what we're talking about here is actually for our regression lines. So for those of you that have been following the Arcane Bear family for quite some time, we have not changed this chart since we drew it basically in March. So this regression line here is really important. I don't think we go too much below this long-term regression line like this. So this area, this $25,000 area is likely where we end up. And this is the previous regression line from the buying climax of this move itself, right? And then you can also make the further speculation that this is a much larger trading range. This is just an SOS and an LPS. Like, this is healthy as fuck before we go to $100,000 anyways. So ultimately, I'm still bullish. For people that are like, oh, you didn't get the distribution. It's like, you fucking pansy ass people that know nothing about Wyckoff all of a sudden think you know what you're talking about because some kid in the basement made a video talking about like a temporary distribution moment. Yeah, there was a temporary distribution moment here too. It didn't fucking do you any good if you don't know how the market cycle works at a macro perspective. Don't trust people that live in a basement. I'm not sure if you know this, but I have a house I built here. So here's my house. Well, it's all one room, but I like to have things kind of simple because I'm not super smart. Let's be clear about that. I own 2 acres with a private waterfall. I have over 100 fruit trees, private well. Like, this is not a basement suite. I'm sorry. I've been successful for at least a little bit of time here. Like, it's not like, oh, anyways, just don't get caught up in the short term. It's a temporary distributional moment. Let's go back to the 1 minute here though. You could try if you want to trust people that have not made any money off the things they're talking about. You go right ahead. Sounds like a dumb idea to me, but whatever. Trust the people. Like, you want to listen to a person. Like, go read the book 100 Baggers, right? You want to listen to the person that's made $1 billion, knowing these things, or the person that hasn't. I've done well for myself playing this game. India has a lot of gold, not Bitcoin. Yeah, great point. Such a nice flex. I wasn't trying to flex. I was just trying to say, you know, like, oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know how good these chairs are, like with the lumbar support and shit, like you're missing out. The only other thing more professional I could have is a yoga ball chair. Hi, I want to start. How can I start reading more? Ten-year bull run and people think it's over now, I know. The most diabolical move right now would be letting the 4chan info out all over the internet, discouraging longs. How would that be diabolical? What are you talking about? Then a rally for mass liquidity. Jesus Christ, people are so. I've never once recommended people use leverage positions. In fact, I tell you not to use it ever. God, the dog is cute. Yeah, I do have cute dogs, don't I? It was a pie cycle a month ago. It was a Wyckoff this month. Yeah, we've been talking about Wyckoff for the last year and a half. It's one of my favorite things now, forever. The dogs are sleeping. I don't want to wake them up to feed them. Yeah, exactly. Distribution accumulation happens all the time. Like technically, we're watching in either an accumulation or what I think is going to be a distribution range here on the 1 minute. How relevant is that? It's really unimportant. I'm here for the larger market cycles, ladies and gentlemen. The law of harmony. What is long term for you? How old are you? Because when you ask questions like that, it sounds like you're under 25 or at least under 30. Relevance in Wyckoff method with its growing popularity. Wyckoff has been around for 100 and something years. It doesn't change because people are stupid and they forget about shit all the time. It'll be not like popular again in 3 months because people suck at studying. Feed your dog. Why would I feed my dogs? They're fat as fuck right now. How you want to overfeed your dogs? This guy sucks. Mitch M, I'm banning you just for animal cruelty. What is long term for you? Again, when you ask questions like that, you sound like you're young. So I'm going to say you should think about when you're 60. Tio, you have told everyone not to use leverage in literally every video. I know, right? People are so crazy. Are you married? My friend's baby mama's auntie was curious. I am not married. I've been a wild bachelor. I've had a rock star of a lifetime for the first little bit of my lifetime. Although now, as I'm getting older, I'm getting ready to settle down here. James Busby, we know you're not an idiot, but you sound like one when you rage out. I don't care. If I sound like an idiot when I get emotional and you can't tell the difference between passion and excitement and stupid behavior, you go to a different channel. I have 3 funny cat videos on my channel. Nice work, Crypto Man. I like this. See, this is where High Card Jesus sounds like a fool. The entire stock market is in a bubble. No, the entire stock market is in a way jetting up because fiat paper money is worthless. And that's what happens. Assets look like they get inflated because the dollars are being inflated. Pretty simple. Yeah, even if you're really rich, you shouldn't be using leverage. We have so much asymmetric upside here. Why would you screw around? Johnny Appleseed, I'll say it again. I've been here since around 1,000 followers. Single best thesis and study. Wyckoff is life. Tio is like a boss. Looking forward to the bear market when all the newbies are gone. Me too. I love Kevin Chili's comment here. It says, you don't sound like an idiot. You sound like you're fed up with idiots. Congratulations on that. That was the comment of the feed so far. Have they fixed the potholes in the roads in Costa Rica? We have beautiful highways. Actually, our highways in Costa Rica are better than any of the ones I've seen in the United States. My road, though, is fucked up. But I live on a dirt road, and we have to pay to fix it ourselves. How am I fooled? Do you listen to world-renowned economists? Yeah, that's what, you know what, High Card Jesus, you're gone. Yeah, I don't, did you listen to world-renowned economists? What kind of shit is that? Yeah, I've read books by George Soros, Warren Buffett. Most of the economists are absolute shit trash and are horrible. They know nothing about the markets. So you get banned for that. Yes. No more stupid questions. Guys, for a lot of you that are investing, asking questions of what should you invest into, I don't actually think you should invest into anything so much as you should go to your local Audible or library, and you should take out books like Dan Dow, 100 Beggars, Alchemy and Finance, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, and you should read a lot. That's your first best investment, is to try to understand how markets work instead of just buying stuff. But then once you've read a few books, because this should only take you a few weeks, like I read last year because of the pandemic, I read like 25 books, and then I listened to like 10 more. So if you can't read, what is that, 5 books I gave you in a year to catch up with the markets, like you should probably just find a job at a regular hour-to-hour paycheck. Housing is in a bubble. If you think assets are worthless, then everything is in a bubble. Yes, no. The dollar is in a bubble, and therefore it appears that assets are. Here's a great way to look at it. You're like, oh, housing is a bubble. Okay, I have a private waterfall on my property. So do you think I care whether the price of my property goes up or down? No, the waterfall is still worth a fucking waterfall. Don't be. You got to know what value is. Price is irrelevant. And that's the real clear indication to a good investor and someone who does not know what they're doing. So no, we're not in a bubble. We are in a place where the fiat prices are, the fiat is worthless. So it makes everything appear as if it's in a bubble. My waterfall is always worth a waterfall. The 150 fruit trees I have on this 2.5 acres is always worth 150 fruit trees. In fact, more so because they start to produce more and more fruit as time goes on. Okay, more thoughts here. I love these, by the way. Thank you guys for letting me rant and have all this craziness. It's so much fun. I'm seriously having so much fun, in case anyone cared. We were watching Bitcoin on the 1 minute in what looks to be another redistribution pattern on the 1 minute to remind you, again, this is why you got to really know the macro cycles. Otherwise, like, oh, look, it's a distribution pattern. Like, the bull market is over, clearly. Do you think Bitcoin will ever be above 50% dominance again? I think it's an irrelevant factor. I think Bitcoin in the dominance factor is irrelevant. I think people that think that Bitcoin is the only asset is kind of a silly. Could you show us around your beautiful backyard? I tell you what I will do. I've got a podcast with Avalanche here at 12. After that, I will make a video sitting by the waterfall talking about value. They're all idiots. Well, this is clear. I'm actually an idiot too. Like, I've done some pretty stupid things in my life. So I'm not trying to say I'm better than anyone. Like, I do stupid shit all the time. But if you come onto my live stream, that I've been doing this, just this part, just trying to interpret value and the randomness of price that comes from that for the last 3 years live on a frequent basis, where I'm constantly putting myself out there and being right and also being wrong sometimes, and you come in here with like quick comments like you think you're going to get my attention. I'm just going to rag on you, dude, because you suck. Go somewhere else then. I don't need you here. The more valuable you are, yeah, the more likely you'll stick around because you know how much value there is here that's being communicated. Where can I do a guided ayahuasca trip in Costa Rica? Well, I can't recommend doing ayahuasca, but I liked it, and Rhythmia is a good place here. Are you interested in Starlink if it comes to Costa Rica? No, I have fiber optic that runs straight to my door at 50 megabits a second. Why would I need some random intermittent like star thing that fucks up our sky? I would rather no Starlink and just try to get fiber optic internet to everyone's house. No, I'm not insulting people. People need to realize that they're stupid sometimes. I realize I'm stupid frequently. I don't know how many times I've said that today. If you don't tell yourself, and I'm the one doing it at the moment, that's not called insulting. That's sharing the truth with you. And in fact, you can probably use it to your advantage because you learned something today. Tio can't fix stupid, and some can also be influenced by one of his words. I pluck with you because you say your opinion, but preach to educate yourself and offer to help and learned in the bear den. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm not trying to tell anyone that I know what's going on either. Like, clearly, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea how the universe works. This is crazy shit. Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. 90% of the people in the chat sound like they might have bought Shiba. That's true. Rad says, the vlog you did about cost versus value is brilliant. Are you planning to do more vlogs? Yes. You guys gave me so much positive feedback on the vlogs. We're going to start doing more of those moments too, where we're not just looking at the charts. So I also don't have to deal with random conversations like this. Not that one, but just in general. But also, by the way, I have like a Jewish tradition where we like arguing. I love arguing. So this is fun for me. No, I don't want to be more popular. I'm like the things that you want to invest in. We're extremely valuable, but unrecognized by most people. I prefer it that way. Ben Collin says, my friend turned me on to your channel. I really enjoy the exuberance and genuine excitement you have. My pleasure. You have a waterfall? I do. Been one of my favorite streams. Thank you. Very chilled. I know I'm chilled about the market, but not about people's ridiculous comments, apparently. Sweaty Four Winds, that's a funny name. Could you post the books you suggested in the chat or any books that you would suggest? Okay, I will do that because you asked so kindly, and I think it's a very, very important question. Oh, actually, if you go to YouTube and you happen to follow me, or actually probably this is a great time to just go ahead and subscribe to the Arcane Bear, give us a thumbs up and enjoy the content. But I believe if you go to my channel and you go to playlists, it's not all the books that I like, but it's a few of them. Oh yes, here it is. Arcane Bear's favorite audio book playlist books for free. Here is like a bunch of them. Alchemy of Finance by George Soros, Trading for a Living, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, How to Trade in Stocks by Jesse Livermore, The Bread of Prosciutto by Nassim Taleb, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham, Dan Dow, and 100 Baggers. And Nassim Taleb, Fooled by Randomness, all there for free if you go to the playlist section and subscribe to us on Arcane Bear. Wow, fiber optic. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. I live in the middle of nowhere and I have fiber optic. It blows my mind too. What is the percentage of chance it'll drop 25K? I have no idea. The reason we're here right now is because I think it's entertaining to see. Otherwise, I'd be just out enjoying my day. I could be doing something else here. The Handu Paid Weather says, I think they're trying to liquidate Lee Key Boom. Nice, that's fun. You were trying to get me to actually look that name up, weren't you? No, I can tell. I've watched too many South Parks and Simpsons episodes. If we fail 28K, I'll be worried. I'm not worried if we fail 28K because it'll be probably very temporary. What do you think of Terrence McKenna? Great speaker. Fiber optic is only at 50 megabits per second because they have to limit the threshold to make sure they have how many people can use the line, in case you're wondering. Yeah, because I have a few people, we're all sharing the same line. Like I live in the middle of nowhere, like here. Hold on a sec, guys. I'm going to take a second off from the microphone. I'm going to literally show you what the middle of nowhere looks like. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at the door here. Okay, so let us move it up now. What nowhere looks like. See that? Can you see any of that? Hey guys. There's no other houses up there. So we have this thing where we all share. There's no other houses out there. Yes, yes, there we go. More market supply coming in. I bet you we're going to see this drop here. I found you today. You're about 10 times better than the other YouTubers I know. Thank you. Are you Jewish? I have Jewish, let's say I have Jewish traditions and background. I'm not Jewish by blood, if that makes sense. If you, well, you'll know what I'm talking about if that does make sense, I guess. I don't get it. How can you love arguing and kick off stupid people? Are you kidding me? Do you hang out with stupid people in your daily life and go, yeah, I'm going to continue to hang out with those people? That I think you need to rethink your thought process there. Yeah, no, I try my best to remove the stupid people from my life. I'm thinking about moving to Costa Rica. Was the administrative stuff painful? I speak Spanish, so it wasn't too difficult to me. You got a mermaid? No mermaid, but I do have a maid. She comes every Monday. Jared Spong says, utility versus scarcity and value. Utility versus scarcity, like liquidity gives you a viable means of exchange. Switching from nothing podcast to these audiobooks on the night shift. Great work. Yeah, it's a smart move. Remember, 100 Baggers and Dan Dow were both written by people who have made hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. It's worth your time, I promise. Whoa, I missed so many extra questions here, guys. I'm going to try to catch up here. When is your Avalanche podcast? It is in an hour from now. It'll be live on Monday. I'm in a group and all the coaches have sold off 50% of their positions. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Again, we took out a big chunk at around 56,000. You can go back and watch all my videos. So beautiful outside. You look like the guy in Never Back Down. I'm assuming that's a band. I'm going to take that as a compliment because I'm sexy and jokey. They should have not bought Judge Units. Pope the Benedict says, Bunny Pancake got a major flash loan attack the day before yesterday, dumping the price of Bunny from $150 to $1. Today we have this whale games. Fun stuff. Do people argument you do on a playground? What? Are you kidding me? Our argument is what life is made out of. You suck at studying. Well, are you kidding? Are you kidding me? Man, you suck. Okay, so I want to show you guys something. The Buddhist mudras. JW says, would you reduce any positions now with the thought of the buying back the 4chan number? No, JW, I reduced at around 56,000. I kept saying that there was like we could easily go both ways, and I wasn't prepared to take that risk. So I'm just sitting pretty. If we see 25K, I'll be buying a bunch more Bitcoin now. Okay, so the Buddhist mudras, there's one that Buddha, you'll always see it. Let's try to figure it out here. Yes, this one is called the Jnana mudra, the Jnana mudra. So Buddha always did this mudra. It's called the Jnana mudra. And it actually, well, see, there's a few different variations because Sanskrit, it talks about meaning and wisdom, but if you go deeper into the focus on this particular mudra, this one here, where they're like, so you can't, just in case you can't see, this one. Let's see here. Yeah, this one. What's fun about that is Buddha called that like the great argument or the great debate, that life is always kind of finding this new exchange of what relative truth is. And yeah, he called it the great argument or the great debate. That no, arguments and debates are extremely important. Same with the Jewish tradition. If you just blindly believe something and you're not willing to put your life on the line and argue for it, you suck. Go away. Don't want you here anyways. So no, I wouldn't be reducing risk now to try to catch the bottom lower. I'm already reduced. I'm waiting. I'm going to see if we catch 25K, I'll be fine. Yes, no, I know. Dan Dao is a Sanskrit term as well. So for those of you that don't know, Dan Dao is written by an author named Monesh Prabhai. And Dan Dao is basically like Wu Wei. So they're both, so Wu Wei is another function of Dan Dao. It's the Chinese version. And it means like, let the universe take you. I mean, it kind of roughly translated as do nothing. but more importantly, it's one of the key and noble concepts of Taoism, which basically means let the river take you. Don't try to force things to happen the way you want them to. The universe like has a story it wants to go through. So the central concept of Tao is nothing is ever left undone. So Wu Wei or Dan Dao is like effortless action. So that's my general understanding of Dan Dao, which is how do you get the most result for the least amount of effort? Do you have a guide you used for moving to Costa Rica? No, I hitchhiked down to Central America when I was 18 years old, and I learned how to figure it out by myself real fast. How can and will the market go higher this bull run when retail is scared to jump in? It doesn't need retail. It doesn't need retail to go higher. It didn't need retail to go higher to begin with. Retail are the people that show up last. Retail will show up again when Bitcoin's back at 70 grand. Do you have some mangoes back there? Yeah, we've got mangoes, bananas, plantains, mangosteens, cacao, yucca, turmeric, carrots, lemons, lemon dulce, sugarcane, bananas, breadfruit, persimmons. I've got a cotton tree. Got so many. Did you interview Charles Hoskinson? Yes, we did. You can find that in our podcast section. I love talking to smart people. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've had plasma physicists on the show, solar physicists on the show. I don't argue with them. Are you a Bitcoin maximalist? No. I think good investments come from understanding undervalued things. Look, if we rewind to 1995 and you're like, hey, should I buy voice.com? I'm like, yeah, apparently you should, because Michael Saylor today would call it a shitcoin, but this is how he made all of his money. Like, good value investing means you understand the difference between the value of something and the price of something over the course of a decade, usually. Hey, what I like about what Leo just said is that Shug Arcane. It's Shug Arcane. Yeah, I have Shug Arcane growing on the property. Nice play on words there. Tio, what's your Discord? It's a private closed group. We have a skin in the game mentality for everyone that comes and plays with us here. We used to do a free one, but it just got full of nonsense, so it's not worth it. You put a paywall in there. The people that show up actually are there to do the work and have the capital to be there. It's much easier for us. If that doesn't fit your needs, I'm sorry. We do this for free frequently. We're out to sit here and rant with you guys. Watching the 1 minute price range for Bitcoin. Hey, Alex, if you're watching this video, I just got your message on WhatsApp. I'm messaging you right now. Or maybe you'll even see me messaging you and telling you that I'm messaging you. Complete native chicken and wild pigs. We have wild pigs here. I had chickens for a little bit and then they got eaten by jaguars. Oh, this is a great question. What bit of advice would you give your younger self? To be patient, to know that the good things come, to read Dan Dao and 100 Baggers like 10 years ago. That would have been amazing. Yeah, read those two books. Those are so good. I'm really liking this this 1 minute chart right now. This is entertaining. Thank you guys for the entertaining morning. I can't stay though. I was kind of hoping we'd stay to see the drop, but I've got a podcast here in 40 minutes and I want to make sure I have some energy for a conversation with a PhD from Cornell, right? Band enough random people. Let's have a conversation with someone probably significantly smarter than I am. Boom, boom. Could Bitcoin go to $1? Yeah, but we could get hit by an asteroid too, so it's not really worth planning for those events. Green Day says, how are the people already all in going to make the market go higher? Banks are not getting in for U.S. long-term holders. Yeah, most of that's retail, and it's probably unimportant. Retail isn't the people who drives up the market. They're the last to show up. They'll show up again later. Thoughts on law of attraction? Oh, I just started reading the book Think and Grow Rich. I really like it. The podcast will be with Emin or Amin. I'm going to have to ask him because I don't actually know how to pronounce it. Yes, it will be with the founder of Avalanche. Very excited to have that conversation. A super smart guy. It's going to be great. I love talking to super smart people. Tio, much respect. Thank you for all you do. My pleasure. I love doing these ones. You guys are great. Doge was almost dead until Elon hyped it. There's that too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got a podcast coming up in 40 minutes here. I was kind of hoping we'd be able to stay online and watch this trading range complete, but I want to make sure I'm all energized for the next move. So I apologize. I'm probably going to have to jump off here. Steal with the Arcane Bear. Don't use leverage if you're new here. Shit, don't even use leverage if you're professional. We have an asymmetric upside. Why fuck around with some number? Asymmetric upside. Yeah, we're seeing some, again, we're seeing some nice supply signature come in here for the sell side. I would like to see us go lower. That would be fantastic. Really, really scare the retail investors out. Again, this is, Kathy Wood went over this too, but when you look at the on-chain metrics, we haven't seen this level of fear in the market since the Bitcoin hard or soft fork way back in July 2017. So thanks for your energy. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, you guys. Love that you guys enjoyed the Data Dash podcast. That was great. Thank you. I'm glad we banned everyone that had nothing good to say. Can you, here, one last question. Andrew says, are you able to read patterns in the 1 minute? Yes. So for those of you that don't know, scale invariance or scale invariant, this is a really important thing to understand. And generally, this is another good book, Misbehavior of Markets. So the gentleman who came up with fractal mathematics, or at least the way to look at it from a mathematical perspective, Benoit Mandelbrot. I'm sure for those of you who are well studied, you'll know what the Mandelbrot set is. If you're not well studied, I don't know what you're doing with your time. You probably read more books. The Mandelbrot set looks like this. I'm sure you've seen it. There are these infinite kind of repeating patterns. This is what scale invariance looks like. So here you can see the Wiener process of a scale invariant function. So yes, from the 1 minute to the weekly to the monthly, these methods are scale invariant. No matter where you look, they will consistently repeat. The universe uses them. I highly suggest studying more of these advanced mathematics if you really want to know how these games work, because you cannot have anything leave the realm of consciousness, market included. Michael Hand says, what do you think of Sonic Boom token pre-sale Monday? I would say don't touch it. It sounds like a waste of time and money. Oh, you know what we'll do, guys? For fun, because we haven't done this in a while. Well, we've got 528 of you online right now. For those of you that don't know, we are big fans of this website called kiva.org. They are a 5013C that makes loans to underbanked and underserved entrepreneurs all around the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log in right now, and we're going to find an entrepreneur who's looking for a loan, probably something in agriculture, probably a woman, probably somewhere in Central America or Africa, maybe Asia, maybe the Philippines. We'll take a look around, and we are going to make a loan to an underbanked entrepreneur. Now, this is better than just giving entrepreneurs money. The loan, they usually feel like they're invigorated to go through and do the work. So right now, boom, we've got $400 basically we can lend out to entrepreneurs. Just for those of you that don't know, over the course of our little experiment here, the Arcane Bear family together, we have made loans. Let's see how much we've done this year so far. This year alone, we've done $11,375 in loans. Congratulations, $12,200 in loans to entrepreneurs around the world. So let's find an entrepreneur today. Well, you can't make a loan to a woman that only needs $0. See if we can close someone out here. Only $50. Sorry. Here we go. Let's go with wait. $125 to go. We'll go. Oh no, that's only $25. I want to switch that. How do I change that? Actually, we'll just lend to a few entrepreneurs. Yeah, there we go. I can. So Let's read Ginger Leona in Ecuador's story. We'll fill out her entire loan. And we'll complete the order. So there we go. I don't even know what she did. We'll just go with that. It's close enough. I like Ecuador. Beautiful country. I want to share the story. Why did you not give me the story? Well, this is silly. I wanted to see that story. Come on, give me that back. Oh well, maybe we'll make another loan here. We still have money left in there. We got another $256 we can lend out. Okay, let's lend the rest out. Okay, let's lead. We'll try to read Caddy's story this time, so don't. Okay, we're gonna fill out the rest of the loan for Caddy here. We're gonna give her the $125. She needs to buy plantains, beef, pork, chicken, rice, beans, and lentils in disposable containers. Caddy Carolina is 38 years old. She's a single mother. They're independent, 2 minors, 14 and 19. They study in elementary and high school. She lives with her family in the neighborhood of Puerto Viejo, an area where residents work in the agriculture and food industry. Caddy works from her home during the weekends, making and selling plantain empanadas stuffed with cheese, mixed rice. Sounds tasty. Caddy, I would definitely eat those empanadas. She sells them with salad and beef, grilled plantains, all packed into disposable containers. I hope they're economic, but it's not really an important part of the question. Everyone in her family got sick with COVID-19, but thank God everyone has recuperated. The social alienation is the main reason that she was without work, and they're trying to cover guidelines. She'll use the loan to buy plantains, beef, and more things so that she can keep selling. Her dream is to have her own home and ensure her children keep studying. Well, Caddy, I like your dream here. I hope that you find a way to get there. We'll fill out your loan. We'll proceed to checkout. And we'll make another great loan to an underbanked, underserved entrepreneur around the world. There you go. For those of you that have not signed up yet, go to the links for arcanebear.com/Kiva if you want to join in and help other entrepreneurs. Remember that every time you make a loan, that money gets paid back like 98% of the time. So you can make loans. So we've been loaning in and out around $5,000. We loan out $4,000, $4,000 comes back. We loan out the $4,000, $4,000 comes back. It's quite a fun process. For those of you that haven't tried it out yet, this is a great way to go. So thank you guys all for supporting us. This is Teal with the Arcane Bear. We'll see you on the next episode.